Hi, good afternoon. It's Gene, maverickstar Observatory again. Second video today, and I don't really care. I just feel like talking today about some truths that need to be hammered home to the World Health Organization and all these other corrupt government politicians around the world that are putting these implications on us all right now, that are crushing us almost into the point of extinction. Yeah, and we are really facing some difficult times at this observatory, and it just seems to be falling on deaf ears. Okay, if everything you have is just a hammer, then everything is going to look like a nail, isn't it? But in my case, all I've got is a voice, and therefore the only thing everything looks to me is like an ear roll. So I might as well sing like a canary and just level up the playing field, and hopefully a few people will pay attention to what I've got to say and know that there is something quite not true about what we're all being told about coronavirus. And I'm going to start with antibodies and the way our body deals with viruses and bacteria and things. We build up these things called antigens. You can read it, it's in front of you. It's not very hard and difficult to understand. Most people that have studied biology like myself will be fully familiar of the way the body fights off like viruses, etc. And basically, once you have had a virus and your body has recognized that virus and killed it off, it will remember the next time you get that virus. That is why we get common colds mutate every year, and the reason why we get that cold again is because it's a mutation of that cold. Now, they have told us with regards to COVID-19 that we can get it more than once, and that should ring massive alarm bells to everybody, because if that is the case, then this thing overcomes the human immune system. And if that is also the case, then there isn't a vaccine on this planet that can be generated and created, and even if we all was inoculated with it tomorrow, would protect us from getting that again. Do you understand what I've just said to you? There is something completely bullshitty about what they're telling us. It is BS. Yeah, it's not the way the human body works at all. If you've got leukemia, then perhaps your immune system is depleted in any case, and therefore it doesn't matter whether you get the same strain. Your antigens are already at an all-time low, but they're saying healthy people can get this more than once. Now that just means that there's more than one strain of coronavirus, and you have already built up an immune system if you've had coronavirus and fought that one off, and if you get it again, it is not the same strain. Now if you remember, in Europe they documented 40 different strains of coronavirus, which means that they would need to combat that at least 40 vaccines. What I'm telling you guys is they are never going to cure, if what they are saying is true, the coronavirus. And we are watching the destruction of our very freedoms, and our businesses and self-employment people hit the deck at an alarming rate. And it must be then, if it's not true what they're telling us about this, which doesn't ring bells of correctness with me. I'm just saying it's not the truth what they're saying. If it was the truth, then okay, you get a vaccine, you're inoculated like tuberculosis once, and you will never get tuberculosis again. If your body builds up an immune system to coronavirus, then you will never going to get coronavirus again, and therefore you should be given like a green card, which means you do not have to wear a mask again, and you don't have to have an inoculation against it, because your body's already built up an antigen over that. So what they're telling us is a load of lies, and we need to ask the question, if we've proved that. And let me just pull up the next slide, because you're looking at antibodies, right? But they're no different from vaccines. I just want to prove that to you. So what we know from this point on, after you've watched this video, is solid, concrete evidence about what I'm saying. And then we can assume why they want to do this. So let's just have a look at what vaccines are. So vaccines, as you can see, if you read the basics on it, a vaccine, it either contains a weakened virus or a dead virus that is injected into your body, so that your natural body antigens can detect it and therefore remove it or kill it completely. So a vaccine is very similar to an antigen, which is your body's immune system. Now, if you can get it again, what's the point in having a vaccine? Just tell me that. It means you'll be inoculated against one strain of COVID-19 if what they're saying is true, that you can get it again. But what they're not saying is that there are multiple versions of COVID-19. That's the only avenue that they can go down if they want to hold truth to what they're saying. But they're not mentioning this to us, guys. What they're telling us is that, you know, they're leaving big chunks out of information in between all what they're saying. But at the same time as doing this, right, what we've got to realise is that we have, in the UK, a population of 65 million people, yet probably 2 million people haven't caught the virus or even got over it. That means, right, we've spent almost an entire year at this point not even getting through 5% of the population, which again tells us that they're lying, because what they're saying is that by the end of January, we'll have this whole thing under control. Well, if it took a year to get 5% or less of the population of the UK through COVID-19, then surely we are looking at 5 or more years before we get this problem under control. We're not going to. If what they're saying is that there is a possibility that there will be multiple strains, they haven't said that though. What they've said is that you can catch COVID-19 more than once. There's something not quite true with what they're saying, and the science doesn't match what they're saying, and I'm just putting that out there. This is the second video I've done today where we are slapping these organisations with truth and facts. You know, if you watch the other video I did today regarding NASA's telling us, right, that during solar minimum we're going to get sunspots around the equatorial region. But if you look today, we're at solar minimum. Those are not at equatorial regions. If you look at the south part of the disk, you will see, and you can go onto our website, you know, we've got a dedicated website for a lot of anomalies, as well as the Pole Shift News. Have a look for yourselves. For God's sake, start getting off your arses and doing some research yourselves, and you'll see what I'm saying is the truth. You know, they're coming after people like me. Do you understand that? They are coming after people like me. They want to shut us down, just like they did with the fascist system that took place in the 1940s. And you should get angry about this, because what they're trying to do is burn the information or withhold it from you. And there ain't going to be many people like us on YouTube, because they want to keep you dumbed down and stop you asking questions about whether or not what they say makes any sense. And I'm just saying this, COVID-19 and what their governments have said, the World Health Organization have said, doesn't make any sense. There is another agenda. We need to ask what that agenda is, and we need to act now. You know, because we are being funneled through a gate, guys. You need to understand that. We are being shifted into the corner of that field and made walk through that gate, just like the Nazis did with the Jews when they told them they're going into a room to be deloused, you know, of the germs, and when they come out the other end, they'll be healthy and they'll be put to work, or they'll be fed and kept clean. But that wasn't what happened, was it? They was pushed into that room. The lights were switched off and they were killed with gas. This was the trust that was in place in people of authority. At the time, okay, it was the Nazis that was in authority, but we are seeing the exact same criminal behaviour take place with regards to what we are being shown across the range. We have a very, very small minority of pigs at the trough that are feeding off the taxpayers and crippling us now as a result of their lies. And, you know, I've said this before, a truth is 180 degrees from a lie. And what we are seeing is them peddle lies as the truth. We need to wake up, guys. If what they are saying, right, is that you can catch COVID-19 multiple times, then there is no point in the governments investing in vaccines. Clear. Because you will not cure it. If they come out with a vaccine and you get COVID-19 again, you are going to need another vaccine, and they can continue producing vaccines, and keep you on tap for the rest of your days. We have seen what's happened with vaccines with regards to other pandemics that have circulated this world, and I think it was the French flu or something along those lines. I can't remember the particular name, but it happened around 1911, and everyone that took the vaccine died. We've seen vaccine failure multiple times, and just to give you another example, formaldehyde was a vaccine that was given pregnant women to stop them having morning sickness. It deformed the children at birth. They were mutating actually inside the womb, and when they were born, as you know, formaldehyde, the level of mutations was horrific. That was recognised that it was caused eventually after massive battles through courts and taken off the market. And we've got governments around the world that have seen this virus, according to them, for the first time in the last 9, 10 months, 11 months now, and they have already started to talk about rolling out vaccines. I, for one, am not interested in their diseased, riddled vaccines. They do not pose any health protection if regarding what they are saying is true, and I don't believe it is. And you know what? I can have my alternative view on this, according to human rights which are being destroyed and shredded up in front of us. I can have my alternative view on this, just as I did with regards to my theory on what is happening with, our solar constant. We're supposed to live in a free world, and that means we are entitled to free speech. Well, we see, don't we, the level of censorship which is taking place now more than ever. It should make the hairs stand up on the back of your necks, guys. If you think you're protected right now because COVID-19 hasn't affected your income and your family's life right now, or whatever is preparing to take place down the road is going to. If they are going to move and shift this world in a new direction, then these vaccines and talk about COVID-19 and pandemics is a perfect platform to do so, because you've seen with the laws, you're not allowed to congregate. You've seen the police battering civilians in all these countries that try and protest, and then what are they saying? You can't protest because there's a pandemic taking place. You're spreading the germs. Isn't it just perfect for them to steal further control and control masses? Something isn't right, and it's proved in this video with regards to COVID-19. Vaccines and antigens should spell the end of coronavirus, but what we're being told is it simply is not the case. We can catch it multiple times. So if that's the case, why create a vaccine in the first place? I'll tell you why. It's because there are billions of pounds being poured into these private companies owned by the friends of these people that have, an opportunity to steal taxpayers' money. They're stealing taxpayers' money, your hard-earned money, and in the pretext that they are serving you, the general public. This couldn't be any further from the truth, and what they're saying is making no logical scientific sense, despite what the government scientists are saying. Where is the evidence? What they're trying to do is rewrite medical books and tell us that our body's anatomy is not what it was before coronavirus came along. And all the work that has been done on vaccines, obviously, is not going to save us. Right now, You're seeing shops close, restaurants close, entertainment companies close, airline businesses going bankrupt. And all I want to say is if you think just for a couple of minutes of what is behind all these companies that are going bankrupt and closing the doors, then you should know one thing, that it is coming to your living room. It's just a matter of time. The damage that has been caused in 2020 is almost irreparable at this point in time. It will not get back to normal. So there's a reason. And what is that reason? Put your thinking caps on, guys. Guys, a desperate attempt to try again to inform you and for you to realise how important some of the work we do at this observatory is worthy of some support. And it's a bit of a panicking situation at the moment because we need a miracle at this observatory right now. We need more than one person to chip in $5. Doesn't take a lot of effort. Links are down there. I'll say what I usually do. Bye for now.